Hey everyone, welcome back to the Automotive Flux channel, and also welcome back to automation. This week is an exciting week, and this video is probably very long, so I would suggest going down into the description. I'm going to have some timestamps there where you can skip through if you want to, but obviously I want you to watch the whole thing. It is well beyond time for me to make another Magnum Opus. If you don't remember what that car looks like, here are some screenshots of several of its versions, but basically I've gone through version 1 through 3 so far, basically just mildly updating it every time, and then I've also done a Safari version and a couple different offshoots as well of this same car using the same base, sometimes with different engines and all this kind of stuff, but it's basically always been the same. Today that's all going to change because it's time for the Magnum Opus 4, hopefully the most Magnum Opus of the Magnum Opuses, and I invite you to stick it out with me for the ride. So what I did to start off with this is I've imported the original Magnum Opus file. This is from 2 years ago, which in the land of automation is a significant amount of updates, and the car has changed quite drastically because of those updates. It doesn't look anywhere near, well, fixtures wise it's good, but the red is very strange. The purple color that I had has not translated. Another thing that's entirely missing is the engine, because engines and the way that they're built have been completely redone. This is Automation Alpha 4.2 point whatever it is at this current moment. So the newest version means different engines, and we're going to have to make something new. But that's okay though, because I want to change the Magnum Opus for the better, and I'm hoping that you'll be interested in this. It's time to make it into a convertible. This might change a lot. Okay, so the fixtures are slowly coming back, but yeah, we have some stuff that needs to change there. This is going to be a lot different. Generally speaking, I tend to like coupes more than convertibles, but I want to try something new. That's the whole point of these iterations, is to try and do something unique every time, and so this time is the very first Magnum Opus convertible. So some stuff needs to change in terms of the chassis, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do that stuff quickly. You can see this car is all plus 15. It is an attempt at being the best that it can be. We're going to continue with carbon fiber monocoque with carbon fiber chassis, but it's going to be a mid-longitudinal setup, so the engine will be here. A transverse is just, yeah, that's not going to work. Push rods on the front and push rods on the back, the fanciest of the fancy, and then it's on to the engine. This video is sponsored by Henson Shaving. Prior to the pandemic, Henson was an aerospace machine shop making parts for things like the Mars rover and International Space Station. With all that machinery kicking around, they set out to make the best razor they could. The result? The AL13. Henson razors are built to extreme precision, 0.003mm tolerance. This might be the most precisely made item I own. Plus they're made in Canada. No plastic, no waste, and built to last a lifetime. These razors are engineered to be smoothed, with one double-edged blade keeping things simple. I've got some personal experience with this. Just the other day after shaving, my wife told me that my face has never felt smoother. That's brownie points, boys. I can't complain. Pick up yours today with the link in the description. Use my code for a free pack of 100 blades with your purchase. Just be sure to add them to your cart and throw Automotive Flux into the coupon box. Every purchase supports the channel, so thank you. This isn't a subscription service, and Lord knows we need less of those. So today I want to try something a little bit different with the engine. I want to pursue an idea that I've had for a while of trying to max out an inline 6. It seems a little bit weird to have an inline 6 hypercar, but I just figure that it's kind of an interesting thought, and why don't we try and make the most crazy inline 6 we possibly can, because why not? So in terms of size, I think we can, okay, we can't get away with too big of an engine. 8 liters is not going to work. While there is no replacement for displacement, I want this to be a high revving engine, so I'm going to turn this down, maybe not that far down. So with a setup like this 2.33 liter could potentially be a 12,000 RPM beast, but that's really not quite what I'm after. Instead, we're going to stick to, say, 5 liters. It'll be a 5 liter inline 6, which is already pretty nuts. Yeah, there we go, exactly 5 liters. And it still fits in the engine bay. That's always a good start. I'm just going to put on the best of the best stuff here, lightweight titanium. Probably forged, and then we'll need a harmonic dampener for sure. Highest possible quality. I'm eager to get some decent power out of this. That's probably going to be a challenge, honestly, but we can tune for the tune for power quickly first as well. With that in mind, I'm going to skip turbos, although obviously this needs to be turbocharged. The highest raw fuel that is currently available in this game is compressed gas, LNG compressed gas. I don't know what that is, but that is apparently 150 RON, which is high as heck. I believe we used to be able to go up to 200 before, but yeah, things have changed. Now, this should still be enough to get us something ridiculous though. Race headers, because yes please. It's going to be a single exhaust, which is weird for this car, but I have something in mind for that. Absolutely no mufflers, because screw that. And all the way up with the quality. Okay, without trying too hard, I haven't even adjusted the exhaust yet. We're making nearly 800 horsepower. That is a great start. I'm hoping that with a turbo, things are going to go up even more. We're definitely going to need maybe closer to 2,000 out of this thing. 2,000 horsepower inline 6. AI tuned for power. I want to see what it'll do. And I have to tweak something. 960 horsepower at 9,200 RPM. Pretty darn good for a start. So my dream of 12,000 RPM is not actually going to happen with this because of the way that the crank works. I could probably increase the balancing mass and get a little bit better, as you can see, but maximum for the pistons, at least the forged pistons, is 9,900. We could lower our torque threshold and go up for 10,000, but I don't know, we'll see. And changing the game, we're going turbo. Oh my goodness, that ruined it. Let's do smart boost, and yeah, no, one turbo ain't gonna do it. We're going two. Twin turbos, baby. That is 1,400 horsepower, and there is still a lot left to do here. Oh my goodness. Race preset, this might break the game. No, actually, it has broken a lot of other things, but not the game. Currently down on power considerably. Pistons and stuff are still good. RPM limit is super low, so we're gonna have to work on that. Increasing the manifold size gets us up to 1360, and increasing the header size is definitely going to do a little bit there as well. Same thing with the exhaust. Time to tune the turbo. Now, yeah, I still haven't watched the turbo video. I really should. It's been a thing on my back burner for literally months at this point, so we're going to be winging this. So we have a couple of options. One of the interesting things about this is having no intercooler tends to increase power, but it's going to cause problems when it comes to heat. So I'm actually going to keep the intercooler up, probably here-ish, and then we'll see where we can get to. Compressor is very restrictive, intercooler's good, turbine is a little bit restrictive, and everything else here is fine. So that's still fine too. Let's go for that turbo grid thing, and let's see what happens here as I increase the compressor. So I can make the turbos absolutely gigantic, basically full size, but unfortunately it limits our RPM to 6,500, which is not ideal. And you can see we do make 1,700 horsepower. I think that's probably close to the top of what we're going to be able to get out of this. So maybe my 2,000 goal was a little bit unrealistic. That being said, I'm hoping to have a little bit better RPM stuff going on here. Yeah, this is not looking great at its current moment. So I know the AI tune says that it won't do turbo engines, but it actually will. It just doesn't do them very well. So we're currently up to 1752, and that is at 9,300 RPM. The compressor still very restrictive, but that's just what it's put on there to try and, I guess, make this work. I think I can do better than that though. The problem is that in order to get this high RPM, we have to have a restrictive compressor. And the ideal scenario in this engine would probably be two different size turbos, but inline instead of both coming off the separate exhaust chambers. Obviously we can't do that in this game, but maybe one day we will be able to. Wow, that is a bumpy curve. Let me see if I can't just do something to try and make that a little bit better. Increasing the spring stiffness has given us a little bit more top end. So I figured out that I can sacrifice the top end for more power sort of here-ish, but what I'm going to do is lower down the RPM limit. 9,300 RPM as a top end limit is actually still really good. We can get a little bit more power as well by adjusting the cam profile. What I'm going to do now is basically just run through everything all by individual pieces to see if I can't just get a little bit more. We're still working with the restrictive compressor, so I guess I should probably test that first. So this is an interesting trade-off I just noticed. When the torque comes in is basically determined by the compressor size. So if I put the compressor up to the highest, 120, we make a decent 1900 horsepower, which is darn close to my goal, but our peak torque is way low. Only somewhere around here, around 5,000 RPM, so it's a weird combination. Dropping it back to say 89, we lose 10 horsepower, but our torque band is much more, I guess, significant. Like, we have torque down low now, which is a good thing. So it's almost worth it to trade off that 10 horsepower for better lower end. It can get a little bit extreme, like I have more down here around 2,500 RPM, but I'm down 100 horsepower, so yeah, you gotta find that balance. I think somewhere like here-ish is probably the best I can do. And the big one is increasing the boost. Yeah, that 2,000 horsepower thing I was afraid of not being able to reach, yeah, it's just boost away. So at the top end we make 2,300 horsepower, which is pretty ridiculous. But that's at 8,600 RPM, not quite as high as I'd like. So again, I'm going to do a little bit of a sacrifice, and I'm going to maybe stay here-ish. You can see that's a 400 RPM jump up to 9,200 RPM, but still 2,234 horses. Crazy. Messing with the ignition timing, and we're making some absolute baller power. 2,280.9 up with the exhaust manifold as well. You can see that that is increasing it basically by 7 every single click. Like, it's pretty significant. Interestingly though, it is lowering the RPM limit. Seems like the car's running a little rich. Drop the fuel map down and boom, 2,300 horsepower. I'm liking this more and more. It's not perfect, and none of the engines I make ever will be, let's be real. Even if I watch every tutorial, even if I'm like some crazy expert on this, it's not going to be perfect or realistic or anything such. But this is going to be an absolute ripper of an engine in BeamNG, and I hope you stick around to see it. Okay, I found a way to glitch the game into giving me 3,666 horsepower. Apparently the compressor is 11,000 something percent too small. I honestly want to try and run something like this and just see if it actually even starts, because there's definitely something off with the calculations to make it have this sort of error. But it's very fun to see that this is actually somewhat possible. I'm kind of scared though. As you can see, I'm up to 2,665 horsepower at 9,100 RPM. Crazy. Alright, I'm loving these numbers, and I think that that's where I'm going to stop. 2,700 horsepower out of a twin-turbo inline-6. No issues at all in terms of stress. Flow is decent, intercooler is probably a little bit big. Everything else is pretty much fine. Turbine and compressor are restrictive on purpose so that we have better low end, but yeah, pretty darn good. You can see I do lose power if I lower the intercooler size, so that's why she's all the way up here. A little bit big, but it's not that big a deal. It's probably better to have bigger than smaller in this case. As this is the Opus, it's time to decorate this. Yeah, it needs something. Oh, the classic. I almost always go classic, but there's also VTEC or the Ford modular one, which is a very interesting look. You know what, let's go with that. As of right now, I haven't decided what color I'm going to make the car, so the engine is just going to be painted a nice red, and then I guess everything else we can kind of fake in as it goes. Alright, red, black, and chrome it is, boys. Twin turbo, way too much power, onto the design. Okay, so now that the engine's done, it's time that I get into the body design, and yeah, I've given myself an extra day to think about this. I'm just noticing that some of the fixtures are a little bit off, actually. Let me fix that. I am still committed to the soft top idea. We're gonna see how that goes. Basically what we can do is go to the paint section, and we should be able to change just the roof color here to a transparent one, and then boom, it's a soft top now. Or I guess the interior is completely gone, so it's a hole. You can see this car has a thing that goes over top of the roof, but because the roof line has changed, it's kind of screwed up significantly, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that yet. And colors as well, that is extremely important. I do need to make it a little bit different, but well, this is a start, so yeah, there's that lovely inline 6 hiding in there. The first thing I'm going to do is actually run through this stuff here, because I don't know, I just want to get it so we can adjust the ground clearance and the wheel size and all that sort of stuff, because I feel like it's way too tall. It's got to come down quite a bit. As this car gets the best of the best, I'm going to also give it a little bit of rear power distribution balance there. Radials, semi-slicks, and yeah, big. So we could do 395s on the back and 375s on the front. I think I'm going to adjust those for handling. At this point we don't have any graphs, so I can't do anything with that yet, but we will get back to it. Carbon fiber rims, because of course. Absolutely massive brakes of the highest quality. Full race diffuser on the bottom with active wing and active cooling flaps, and obviously that a little bit up. Let's put a touch of brake airflow on it as well. I'm going to do a detachable soft top, although an automatic soft top would be kind of cool. And yeah, let's do handmade, luxury. Oh, this thing is going to be heavy. So unfortunately the game wants me to put 19s on it because 20s will make the rear tires blow out. The only other way to fix that would be to increase the wheel, like actual size to the max, which is okay. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to make the fronts smaller. I'm also, yeah, the fronts are going to be significantly smaller just because we don't need them to be as chonky. Okay, back to styling. Now this is the part where I'm probably the most afraid to make changes, because the Magnum Opus front end is very classic at this point for me. The rims and stuff, the back end is one of my favorite creations of mine of all time, but you know that things have to change when you're doing a 4.0 version, and there's just some stuff on here that doesn't quite work. Like, what's going on here? It's something being cut out and it's not working quite well. So because these rims are so large and very pronounced, I can't just go with anything. I have to be very specific about this, and I was thinking about doing rotiform wheels, something like this perhaps, just because they have good depth to them. Maybe not quite as much depth at the front, but I like that depth at the back. There are quite a few options for this sort of style, but man, these are some pretty good mods. I think I'm going to go with these, at least as we're testing. Something that needs to change is the exhaust is just not going to work for what we're trying to do here, because, well, it's not dual anymore, it's single exhaust out of an inline engine. It's time that the back end got a little bit more aggressive, so I'm going to take that completely off. Okay, because I'm trying to make things even weirder on this build, I'm going to change up the way that the body sort of flows. I want this to be different, I guess is the right way to put it. It needs to change at least a little bit. Change for the sake of change isn't always a good thing, but change for the sake of a 4.0 version, that I can get behind. One of the coolest parts of this body is that you can just drag the entire fender set out and essentially make a ridiculously wide vehicle straight from stock. Like, this thing can get really thick. Yeah, that's a little too thick for my liking. So I'm gonna reach all the way back in with that, and we'll just go for both of them all the way out there. So it's quite a bit wider than it was before, and the entire front end is screwed up, which is fine. I'm gonna actually shrink that piece in as well. Oh, this is gonna be a weirdly proportioned car now, isn't it? Okay, so we've gained just a small amount of width, and yeah, it's time that I really seriously went over everything. Yeah, this is gonna take a while, so buckle in. I'm gonna skip through this just a little bit to make sure that you're not getting too bored, but gone is the wing, gone is pretty much everything that doesn't fit. Oh yes, some good things are happening here. I've gone ahead with white wheels and green brake calipers because I think it's cool. And I still need to color the exhaust. That's actually something important on my mind here. But there's a bunch of stuff that I want to do. I think that this sort of build gives me the opportunity to just really go wild, and yeah, why not? How's that for a reimagining with a little bit of a twist on it? Basically the same style, except I've added some lights, I've got different grills, it has a significant new diffuser, which is huge, which is a good thing, and also kind of fun. I think, well, I'm not quite done with it yet. We need a huge wing. Another thing that's sort of been messed up by the passage of time here, and also everything is broken at the moment, is this whole like back setup. I think I'm going to delete most of this, but I have an idea, and it involves having this on the roof, because I kind of want it to be a separator between the two sides, I guess, just like a little unique touch to give it just a little bit something extra to make it, I don't know, a little bit less convertible-y. Is that even a word? Apparently it is now, so get used to it. I'm making stuff up as I go. Okay, that's not exactly unusual for me. But yeah, we have absolutely wicked engine, crazy back end, which I'm a big fan of. And now it's time to do the rest of the back. I've also done a couple of other minor changes. The gas cap is now a race spec one, and the front end is fixed, at least for now. The wiper, I'm going to keep that, and then this I'm also going to keep just the basic mirrors. We're going to cover up this back end properly here, and I might hide the intercooler while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that looks way better without that sticking into the chassis, so just a little bit less modeling going on, I guess. The difficult part about this body is doing something with the sides because they're so strange, and this has always been a challenge for me because side skirts don't really work. I mean, I could try and two-tone it, but it doesn't really work. Graphics, I guess I could do, like writing of some kind, but I don't really want to go full race car just yet. We can save that for a later edition, but for now, it's just kind of like empty and bare, and that's probably how it's going to stay, but I'm hoping to change it. So the back end is a unique situation where we have a twin turbo, although, yeah, okay, the turbos are there, the intakes are missing, but not a big deal. A twin turbo inline 6 that I kind of want to show off, so why don't we put something there to make that happen? Okay, that actually looks really, really cool, just kind of hiding out in there. But you can look in the top and see the big brute hiding out. One of the issues with this car is that cooling is essentially non-existent due to the fact that, well, the front grille, I guess you could have a radiator up here, but at the moment there's nothing in there at all. It's completely empty. And the back end, yeah, nothing yet either. So we're going to need to do some big grills here and also some big wings because I like wings. I'm always tempted to steal from actual cars, stuff like Skylines and Mitsubishi like wings and stuff. They're always cool. Obviously Subaru wings, you gotta have them. As you can likely tell from a lot of my previous builds, I'm a huge fan of these. Although on this car, maybe not, because of the massive slope of it. The wing's got a bit of a rake to it. Oh, that looks pretty crazy though. It's making things difficult for me. I'm always a fan of putting a big table on the back of one of these cars, and that is a strange one. This is actually off of an R33, I believe. Cool car, massively incorrect wing though. Okay, some stuff has been happening. Quite a bit of stuff actually has been going on here. I have managed to get some vents on that I kind of like, although I don't think I properly modified their textures and such. But basically, I'm just trying to get this, oh, whoop, don't look at that yet. Just trying to get this front end and this back end sorted, mostly the back end, but these wings here are basically what I'm focused on at the moment. I think they've come out pretty decent. I like this sort of all carbon fiber look for this one, so that's what I've gone with there, and then a lower body colored wing here. So the thing looks pretty darn aggressive, just as is. Yeah, I'm considering putting an F1 wing on the car. I know that seems like maybe it's a little bit overkill, but I kind of like overkill. I want to make this thing ridiculous, so why not give it a shot? Now, one thing that the car creator isn't quite getting to my liking is the actual height of the car. if we drop the lift down, which we can do here, you can see that the car is still a little bit high, probably higher than I'd like. So I'm going to lower the front and the rear suspension. We're going to get rid of this big gap. I know it's probably a little bit less realistic, but I do think it's cool, so that's what I'm going to do. You can just lower the front ride height by 3 points, I guess, and then lower the back by 2. Yeah, more aggressive, much nicer looking. It's just cool. That is absolutely crazy of a front end. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it, but I kind of like the weirdness that I've designed. The front lights, by the way, yeah, they got to be a little bit wider than they once were. I'm working on that now, but holy smokes. Basically what I've done is F1 front wing, and then I put a big carbon fiber thing, which is actually just a vent, in here as a way to block it off so you don't just see directly into the chassis. It doesn't make any sense at all aerodynamically, but does it need to? That's maybe a little bit too much, actually, now that I look at it more. I like the idea, though, of having this sort of front end stick out as it does. Something that might be kind of ridiculous would be cutting holes here and here for the air to just kind of like funnel up through it. So I might try that now, and then angle this. And okay, I've got some ideas. Let's work with it. Okay, so I have my absolutely ridiculous hood vents on there because I like hood vents, and now they do reach to the bottom. This wing thing is aggressive. I'm going to see if I can find something a little bit different that does something similar first, but that might end up being the final front end, a real evolution version of the car here. Pretty bananas, which is sort of exactly what I'm going for. Just trying to make something so absolutely ridiculous that, yeah, there's basically no way it could exist in real life. However, I don't know, man. This is just cool. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns here as much as I am doubting myself, always. I'm always doubting myself in some way. It's just part of the deal. But this is gonna confuse some people here. Let's put a little bit of a badge on it. Yeah, boys, that is canon now. Who makes the Magnum Opus? Now you know. Okay, so our front end is ridiculous. Our back end is pretty safe, honestly, all things considered. And the sides are not yet finished. The interior is very important. I think it's time that I put that together, although I think that is going to be fairly easy because I intend to use the same interior that I did before. That being the fancy carbon fiber stuff that you can get in automation here. That would be all of this. I think I can make something cool out of it. Yeah, this seems decently modern enough for this build, so that's what I'm going to go with. Easy way to make these interiors. I've shown this a few times, but you just want to rotate these things using the advanced settings and slap them in. Okay, we need an engine cover, we need some seats. I believe there are some really nice race seats somewhere hidden in here. I'm just going to have to find them. And then that back cover as well. Oh yes, here we go. Yeah, I actually really like the look of these seats just kind of as is. So as much as this is a premium special carbon fiber everything vehicle, it is also a sports car, and it does have 2,700 horsepower, so don't forget. I think, oh man, I'm pretty close to finishing this. It's going a little bit slower than I thought. These chairs are just a little bit too high as well. You can see them over the top of the car there, which is kind of funny. But man, this is a weird build. It's cool, but it's definitely strange. Making another Magnum Opus has turned out to be a lot more difficult than I thought it was. The color is still not final. I haven't completely decided that yet, but man, there's still so much empty space on this thing. There's so much room for activities. The problem is that oftentimes adding more makes things worse. If I just start spamming fixtures and stuff, I might entirely break this. So let's pick a color first and see where we end up. I've added a couple little extra touches like Opus on the back, and I want to shrink the size of this because it's shockingly large for some reason. Wow, that actually looks striking in blue. A nice dark blue as well. I think I can do a little bit better in terms of the overall shine, but man, blue and white, lovely color combo, just like that. Ooh, yeah, that plus the carbon fiber Plus the white wheels means I'm gonna have to change this to something a little bit softer perhaps. Let's just go for like a different bluish, greenish color instead of just pure green. The red looks great on it. That is a flawless color. Oh yeah, I added a little extra detail. The gauges are blue as well, and the shifter is too. Okay, the car has a body kit everywhere except for the side skirts, so I'm going to make some changes in order to incorporate one because I cannot live without more. More stuff on the car. Just a little bit more, not too much. Okay, I added just a couple extra touches and I'm going to sign off on this part of the build for now. It has been a wild over an hour just kind of styling this up. I knew I had to start from somewhere, otherwise this was going to go nowhere. So that's why we're here. Basically though, now the body is fairly set. It looks like the dashboard is clipping into the rest of it just a little bit. Let me fix that. Yeah, I'm sure I'll find some other small little issues here and there, but it's kind of set in stone at the moment. I've actually just noticed another issue, so completely never mind that. Okay, now I'm going to take my hands off the mouse, stop designing, and start finishing this car because I want to try it out in BeamNG. I know you want to hear it in BeamNG. Trust me, I do too. It's very exciting to be able to run this stuff in that game. I do want to quickly change the window transparency first. I put all that work into the interior. I want to see something. Oh, that engine is looking mint in there. Yes, this is very, very exciting. Plus you can see the turbos through this vent thing. Oh yes. Okay, on to the rest of the drivetrain. I'm not going to change too much here other than what I did before. All-wheel drive dual clutch. Top speed probably went... Oh, it went up. Okay, that's concerning. I'm probably going to have to make some changes. 570 kilometers an hour. Yes, please. That is darn fast. Wow, that is actually shockingly fast. The rear tires have blown out. The downforce at top speed is too high. Problems everywhere. So we're going to change the wheels to make it so that they actually work for this car because apparently the downforce is a little bit ridiculous, which is cool. We have a lot of rear downforce and not very much front, so I'm going to turn down the rear wing angle quite significantly to try and get those to line up a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. I would rather sacrifice the rear to get a little bit more front and possibly fix some of the issues. As you can see, that solved the bottoming out problem, so that's at least a good thing. Okay, we're going to do 18s on the back, 19s on the front, which is how you know that this thing is truly aggressive. It actually doesn't look too bad. I don't mind that. Obviously, I can just have this and then change it in the advanced settings if I want to. One of the things I wanted to do while I was in the advanced settings I forgot about is the front wheel, what was it, concavidity words. I wanted to make that a little bit lesser, something like this. And on the back, I wanted to make it deeper, just because I think that's cool. So -1, maybe not 1, maybe half. Yeah, something like that. So the back wheels are deeper in, front wheels stick out more. It looks like a GT car. It's really cool. So sticking with that. So the car is not really the best at the moment. We're gonna go for that race preset, and again lowering this down should fix some of the problems, but we're suffering with wheel issues. Looks like the brakes. Okay, the brake graph actually appeared, so that's a good sign. I'm going to increase the pad type up into race, try and get the brakes a little bit better, but you can see when we're way up at our top speed, it's not going to slow it down very easily. I think this is probably reasonable. The car actually only weighs 1,590 kilos at the moment, but still we need huge brakes to stop it when at speed. Okay, let's fix that oversteer, probably due to the fronts being too large. Almost definitely, actually, due to the fronts being too large. I want to keep those 395s in the back, if possible. Obviously, they can be shrunk in if they need to be. This is going to be fixed as well, because we need some of that cool offset stuff. If I lower these significantly, I mean, it increases sportiness, but it looks bad. This car is all-wheel drive. Okay, maybe it is significantly geared towards the rear instead of the front. Alright, crazy offset, much smaller front wheels, because I guess that's just the way that this has to be. Not a huge issue, but it is a little bit awkward, I guess. I'm going to shrink this down just so those are in a little bit, and the backs I'm going to do in just 1 point there. So I think that sort of offset is decent. I like having a little extra lip. I know some people are like, man, fix your fitment, I believe it's called. This is good enough, boys. It actually works. Okay, we're out of major errors, but quality settings, that's not going to change. Oversteer, not the worst thing ever. It is all-wheel drive. If dampers are hard, to be expected, and the brakes are actually too strong now. Honestly, I'm going to over-brake it, and the car has ABS, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not the end of the world. Over here, wing angles, we already adjusted that. I think that everything here is going to be decent. The car basically has everything it needs, and the cooling capacity actually needs to go up 1 tick. You can see there the required cooling is 1921. We're at 1897, so we'll go up 1 little extra just to make sure that it's fully cooled. Everything in here is done. This is a very, very expensive car, which is cool, with all the fanciest lightness that I can add to it. I'm trying to make it as light as humanly possible within reason. Then the weight distribution and all that is fine. I think we might be ready, finally, to take this car into BeamNG.drive. 2700 horsepower Magnum Opus with the 4th version of it. Hopefully the best. We're going to race it against some of the other versions and see which one is better. But for now, I'm going to tune it into BeamNG and see what happens. Is it even going to work? It better. If it doesn't, then I'll be letting you know. Alright, here is what the Magnum Opus 4 looks like in BeamNG. Absolutely crazy is the answer. This thing rips extremely hard. I have tried it, and yeah, I'm very, very happy about it. That car over there is the Magnum Opus 1. We'll be talking about that car in a bit. I'm just warming them both up. You can see the exhaust smoke. But there are some weird things that have happened because of automation and BeamNG exporting always being a little bit weird. Most of the time it's good, sometimes it's not. But yeah, let's listen to the car first. Apart from my terrible driving, you can probably tell that this thing rips. A little bit too hard, actually. It has 0 grip, even with the Sport ESC in sport mode. It's difficult to keep control of this car. Oh, and yeah, I mean, it crashes pretty good too. So the lights have come in a little bit weird in the back, which is not that big a deal. The carbon is funky because it always is. I'm not super concerned about that. The engine cover is gone because I guess BeamNG can't do anything with that. It was a mod engine cover, so it's not the end of the world. The glass has come in decently, except it only shows on one side, so you can only see the glass from the outside, which is weird. Everything else looks like it's come in pretty decently though, and the interior and everything is all good. I think overall it's a decent export, and I'm pretty darn pleased with the way that this thing's gone. Honestly, last night, because I was designing this yesterday, I was thinking about this design and I'm like, you know what? This isn't really my best, is it? But looking at it now, I really, really like what I've got here, and I'm very, very pleased with the front end in particular. I think it's kind of crazy how that's developed, and yeah, I'm just very pleased with this car overall. Hopefully you are too. It has been a long time in the making here. Literally, this is day 3. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I only have evenings to work on this stuff, so that's why it takes so long sometimes. Actually not bad at the wet area here. This is a pretty good drift car, all things considered. So this is the Magnum Opus 1. This is the car that this car is 3 iterations away from. This car is weird to me because I made it back in 2020, I believe, but you can see it's got a transverse V12, I believe. I don't know how much power it has. I think it's rear-wheel drive, so it's probably not going to be comparable to the other one. It is absolutely wild which is to be expected. I believe this is from back in the day in automation where ESC was really bad. Like, it was just badly tuned, so you couldn't do much with a car that had ESC, and that's why this one has nothing. No traction control, no ABS, no nannies at all, and also willingness to murder you at every single corner, at every single second. I can see why this needed 3 more iterations, my goodness. So I think the reality is that no matter what, the new one is going to be quicker because it's all-wheel drive. Probably the best way to put it. I mean, in a drag race, things might be a little bit different, and maybe we'll have to put that to the test. This is every Magnum Opus I've made. We have 1, 2, 3, and then I believe 3.5 Sahara. We have Carbon Edition, Classic, and now 4. It has been a wild journey through all of these. I think my favorite of the OG versions has to be the Carbon one, so let me show you that. Yeah, this thing looks pretty terrible in BeamNG because carbon fiber, especially back in those days, was maybe a little bit too notchy, but it does drive quite well. It's probably the best driving one of the OG series. The whole point of the Magnum Opus is just to make really wild stuff. As you can see, this one has big fender flares, it has a ridiculous wing. If you can peer through that ridiculous carbon filter going on, then you can see how wild it truly is. But I think we've come a long way, and I think that this long way has been worth it, so why don't we put the new Magnum Opus through its paces, see what it's like on the track perhaps if I try to drive it a little bit more seriously, and maybe even get it through a couple laps, and then we'll do a drag race, this one versus whatever we happen to find to be the fastest Magnum Opus. I believe this is going to be it. It's time for your daily dose of 2700 horsepower inline 6. Flying into a tree. Okay, starting from around here, I'm gonna lap the track the best that I can, not timed, because I think it's probably gonna end up with me going off the track a few too many times. Oh my goodness, yeah, this car is absolutely bananas. I think, oh goodness, ESC is having issues with me, and wheel spin. Oh, it hesitates so much when you get on the power there. But if you have the ESC in sport mode or off, then the wheels spin and it's way easier to fly away. This car is designed to be fast, but it's also a little bit out of my skill set. Which is why, in a rarity, I'm actually going to be posting this one on my Discord, just because I hope that people are interested to try it, so feel free to go check it out there in probably new video discussion. Very likely to be posted there when it's done, if I remember to do so. Ping me if I don't. 250, we're probably going to need that much time to slow down here. The brakes on this are massive. I did not shrink them in the name of, well, whatever it was complaining about when it came to brakes. Oh man, you can fly off the handle with this so easily. Oh, the chicane. Come on. Oh, you really have to slow down. There we go. Yeah, I really can't drive these high horsepower, difficult vehicles. It takes the tuning wizards of the automation, or of my Discord, but of the automation community to be able to make cars with high horsepower that I can actually steer. I don't know their wizardry yet. One thing that would probably help the handling is actually narrowing the front track width, because at the moment this car is shockingly wide, far too wide to handle properly. But, I mean, it's not terrible. I made it around the track at least once. Time for some inline 6 ASMR as I crash into this. Happy now, that one guy who commented that I always talk over crashes? Alright, it's my first drag race with this car, and I'm going up against the Magnum Opus 1, which is highly uncontrollable, so I'm giving it to the AI and waiting for them to attempt to control it. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do anything with this, but I'm going to try my best. Up into sport mode and probably sport ESC. Actually, let's do no ESC and see what happens. That car is wiggling on the line. I have to stage myself here. Oh, come on. Just a touch of the gas. There it is. Oh, I'm late. Oh my goodness, the wheelies. I'm across the line, but I'm curious to see the time. Oh, I can't keep control of this car. 8.2. It is faster. Okay, we'll do that again, except without the wheeling start, because, yeah, that's kind of ridiculous, but also hilarious. I really like that. Oh, I jumped the start. I'm an idiot. Okay, so we found out before that the car is faster than the Magnum Opus 1. What about the Magnum Opus 2? Oh, it's the same color. I'm not sure exactly what changed here. I'm pretty sure it was engine from 1 to 2, because I wasn't happy with the way that it was working in V1. So I'm curious to see if V2 is actually any quicker. I believe that they did get quicker over time, with this one hopefully being the pinnacle of speed for the Magnum Opus line. Oh, they're having trouble staging it. Okay, here we go. Up we go. That car is a lot more planted. Oh my goodness. Nah, we got him. Easy. 7.8 when I keep the nose down. That other car, though, significantly faster than the Magnum Opus 1. So 8.1, 7.8. At least I can do that. Okay, different foe. Time for V3. Oh, V3's sounding pretty hardcore. I didn't make too many visual changes from the looks of things. It really just seems to be the same car over and over again. But that's, well, how things go. As you will soon find out, that definitely changed. V3 is probably gonna beat me. Unless I pull off some ridiculous nonsense. Oh my goodness! Look at the background. That was probably one of the worst finishes, and also best finishes, of my entire life. Genius. Alright, here we go. And off the line, down off the bump, staying in my lane, and planted. 7.7. Ooh. Okay, V3 is actually slower than V2 in the drags. I feel good about that time, though. That's even better than I did before. Alright, that is V3.5 Sahara Edition, and it's an off-road spec version. I expect to be able to beat this one quite handily, but, yeah, who knows? Who knows? Seems like the faster I get this thing sorted, the better, but I'm also a terrible driver, and I'm gonna win this one sideways. Okay, different start this time, and we still get a ridiculous wheelie. But the car is a lot more planted, and that's an 8.0, so a little bit slower than what I was dealing with before, but still faster than the Sahara. Alright, it's time to race against the classic version. I personally love this one, but it is a little bit divisive, I would say. A very strange car overall, but I don't know, it's cool. Okay, we start off high and then we bin it. Okay, the classic is apparently an absolute ripper off the line, but nothing in the top end. 8.7. Oof. Well, that's only one more to go. It's the Magnum Opus Carbon up next. So we are going to do a little bit of an extra round after this because I suspect that the V2 is actually going to be the quickest. Oh, the Carbon is fast though. Holy crap, it's fast. 7.8. Oh man, okay, never mind. Carbon is actually very nearly as quick as this car that I just made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch places, and then we're going to try that again. In the hands of the AI, what are they going to be able to do with the Magnum Opus 4? The inline 6 in that thing is so... Okay, this thing is a manual. Oh boy. Uh-oh. That might make a big difference here. But I'm curious to see how this goes. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my goodness, this thing is so fast. Oh, 7.5? No way. Jeez, these things are so close. I do think that the Carbon is a little bit faster, but honestly, I think the only reason why it's faster is because it's a lot more planted. And I'm guessing it has a lot more power. I didn't try to max an inline 6 for this one. However, still, I'm going to claim that at least when it comes to the AI, oh geez, the Magnum Opus 4 is the fastest Magnum Opus, at least in the main line. This car is basically like a Far Cry Blood Dragon to Far Cry 3 scenario. Both games are good, but one of them, I don't know, it's a feature-rich one versus this, which is really just a carbon variant of another. Well, boys, I gotta say that was a ton of fun. I really like running this car versus its contemporaries. Basically the only cars I have that are actually anywhere near its speed and power and just general prowess. That being said, what's your Magnum Opus? What does it look like? Send me some pictures on Discord. Feel free to post them in the new video discussion channel, or talk about it in the comments here if you've made a really cool automation car that you like. But yeah, this is what I've been working on for the past while, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. I just wanted to say I don't take sponsorships lightly. Like, I'm trying to make a video that's quality is good enough to warrant a sponsorship, and that's why this one is so long, and it's been a long time for me in the background working on it. I also wanted to say that I don't pick sponsorships that I don't actually like, so you won't see any crappy mobile game ads on this channel. It's always going to be for products that are real, stuff that's actually useful, things that I think you'll actually want, and that's really what I aspire to be. So as I built my portfolio up a little bit on these sponsorships, I'd encourage you to check them out. We have Henson Shaving today, and they have very graciously sponsored this video and also my entire channel. So be sure to check them out. Every single purchase supports this channel, so yeah, I'm excited about it. I tend to like Canadian companies a little bit more than others, so don't be surprised if you see more Canadian-made, Canadian-owned products on this channel. I'm trying to rep the country I'm from. But boys, I got some more ideas for you next week. No breaks at all. We're right back into more automation stuff, and yeah, I'm excited to see how things go. Thank you for the support recently. Be sure to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to this channel if you want more stuff like this. I am happy to make more variants of this car as automation develops. I will too develop my Magnum Opuses and make them more interesting with every twist and turn. But for now, I'm going to smash this thing into some city traffic, and I will see you guys again next time. Boom! Yeah, it still crashes pretty good. Speaking of channel sponsors, we also have channel members. These are the people who have been supporting my channel for the long term, some of them over 3 darn years. That's a long time, by the way. Holy crap. But yeah, it's just encouraging to see this list grow. I appreciate everybody who's on here, and if you want to support my channel even further, that's what this is for. It's the join button. It's basically Patreon for me, and it just keeps things consistent. So yeah, just want to thank those in the V8 tier. This is a $5 a month thing. We have Overlord, QT Bear, Terry01, Jay Pope, Davis Heister, The German Dude, Nat64, Sinlab, Badger, Baja Blast, Trevor Cousin, Goofy Plays, and Phoenix Shark. Thank you everybody for your support. I'll see you guys again soon, and yeah, more good stuff on the way. Bit of background info, this video is like 3 hours long, so rest in peace as I try to edit this all tonight. Wish me luck.